Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen.
With me today is abundance teacher and money coach, Jody Lynn Craven.
This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today.
And Jody Lynn, as the intro was playing, I was recalling what we were just talking about a moment ago. You are in Canada, which is like snow country during the winter, right? Our guest today is in San Diego. What do you think the odds are that he actually has more snow than you?
Well, I would bet that's a no.
Oh, okay.
Or give it a couple of hours, yours will be melted. And since
okay.
it's, been really cold here in Canada where I am for the last week or so, give it an hour and it's probably going to get colder and we're going to get more snow.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that was a bit of a reach. Okay. I confess. Yeah.
That was a setup.
Yeah, it was. But it was a fun one. And that's the way we like to go. We like to have fun.
It sure was. That was a killer opening.
So Clinton Dye, this is the guy who's joining us today. This guy has been through a lot of traumas in his life. He had his first traumatic event when he was 5 years old. His mother and father were in a domestic violence situation. He was a U.S. Marine. He participated in fighting in Afghanistan and came out of that with some PTSD issues. He's managed alcoholism. He's been through a lot of stuff. But what he's come out of it with is an understanding of, well, first of all, how you get past all that. And second of all, how do you get to the kind of life you really want to live? He's concluded that you do it via a combination of nutrition, fitness, and mindset. And we're going to learn more about that today. But Clinton, thank you for joining us. First of all, how are you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm doing very well. It's sunny San Diego, breath in my lungs, blood pumping through my heart. There's nothing to complain about, really.
Yeah, that sounds really good. That's really good. So, all right, I kind of gave like the 25,000 foot view, but give us like the 5,000 foot view. Well, give us like your biography, what you've been through, where's your life going, and all that good stuff.
Sure, no problem. We'll hit them with the hard stuff right up front.
Okay.
Like Walt said, at 5 years old, my mother and father were in a domestic event. Essentially, my dad kicked in the door looking for drug money. Right, he was pushing her around in the back room, and she had enough in Houston, Texas. She pulled out a .38 that she had scored from one of her friends and pointed at him, shot him in the chest. I was in the same room.
Wow.
Guy stumbles out of the room. There's 4 combat tours in the Marine Corps as a young adult, about 19. Right, I went into combat right around 21, so 2001 to 2009. 4 tours, 2 tours in Afghanistan, 2 tours in Iraq, both invasions. I've dropped probably more bombs or controlled more aircraft, bomb weapons events on humans than probably any other Marine in the entire Marine Corps. Then I have a 13-year defense contractor career working for one of the big 5 in the defense industry, and I have 13 years combined, 355 weeks in a combat zone, which is about 6.8 years of my life. So there is a little bit of PTSD that lingers in the back of my mind and spirit from time to time.
No kidding.
Yeah. The bigger question would be, how could there not be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's there. So I figured a way out of that. And, I'm very thankful for the trauma I experienced. I don't hold any ill will towards any of the people involved or any of my actions. There's a process that prepares you for later in life for much harder times. And these events really prepared me for the next step of difficulty along the way. As horrible as that sounds, that's the hard truth. And most people in the United States, in the Western world, modern world, live a very soft life. They have a blowout or a flat and it ruins their entire day. That shit doesn't even faze me. I hit AAA, grab an Uber. I actually got in a wreck on the way to a date one time. I'm actually in a relationship now, but before that, I got in a wreck, going to a date, like a fender bender. I called the tow truck, said, "Hey, get my shit. It's on the side of the road. I'm heading to the date," and called an Uber and made it to the date. She's like, I was like, "Yeah, I apologize for being 2 minutes late to the date." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm never late." She's like, "What took you so long?" I was like, "Actually, I got in a wreck before I came over." So, and just had a great time. I mean, that's life. So, those tough times prepare you for like the little petty shit that you can just move right through,
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about making a first impression on a date. Can you imagine that, Jody Lynn? I mean, seriously.
No.
Jody knows.
Yeah, but I would appreciate that. Like, you came in, it sounds like anyway, that you came in and you were still like happy and it wasn't bothering you. Like, I would think that's like an A++ in my books after that. And they still had like a happy face on and they didn't, weren't sour the entire time.
Yeah. When a guy like me shows up to any date, Jody, you know it's going down well, right? I handle half the battle by being able to take my shirt off at any moment of the time. So I'm already in the top. Like, I just might go home with this guy, right?
So there's just like a little bit of an edge. You got to get them over. Maybe,
That's right.
maybe.
That's right. Every word after that is convincing them out of that concept that they already thought that they might do. So, which isn't hard. Come on, look at all my issues.
Oh, wow. All right.
See, here, I thought we were going to be talking about, how to get ahead in business and how to, overcome the obstacles in life. And already we're giving out dating advice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Who knew?
This is a live show, right? Improve your life. It's all connected.
It
all
is all
connected. Yeah.
It's all connected.
It's
If you don't
true.
have love, you don't really have a life, man, in my opinion. Absent love, life is horrible worth living. I feel sorry for people without love.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would say philosophically, I can't even imagine how life can exist without love, to be honest.
I don't think it really does.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think it's possible.
You're a shell of a person just plowing through life, waiting for death, I guess.
Something, yeah.
I can't wait, no matter how long my day is. I can't wait to wake up in the morning. Like I don't want to go to sleep. I really don't. And when I wake up, 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours sleep doesn't matter. I'm invigorated to start the day. I look forward to every breath. I have a beautiful life, cool two dogs, cool kids. I walk through the world looking like this handsome guy with everything that I've been through. Like it's not a bad gig. Like I'm excited.
Modest too. I like that. But the fact is that when you go through stuff like you went through, I mean, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal because you came through some really rough stuff and you kind of slid through it by saying, I figured that part out. Well, yeah, I imagine that's true, but there's like a story there. You can't just skip that part. You have to tell us about that.
Yeah, what was the in between?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that was the 5,000 foot story of my life. So, we'll back up to the very beginning, trailer park kid. So essentially white trash in the United States, right? Very poor. I'm sorry if that hurts some people's feelings, but that's the colloquial term for poor white people in the United States, right? There's no advantage there. There's drugs, alcohol, violence, organized crime, rape, assaults, molestations. There's all that stuff. I think one of my oldest memories is one of the guys in the neighborhood picking me up by my throat, at like 3 or 4. And, my dad freaking out, coming over and, tuning the guy up. So in this environment, just like all struggling environments where there's a disadvantage economically, life from day to day is tough. I remember my mother was a bartender. She worked at a local bar in Houston, and my sister stripped, right? And she was, in her teenage years, and my dad was a plumber. So we didn't have money, and they both had drug and alcohol addiction issues, right? He was into the hard stuff. And when she gave birth, she didn't do hard drugs anymore, but she always smoked weed and drank like, a sailor. And my dad was, on the hunt for quick cash so he could go get another taste of heroin, and that was my life. There was one couch. That was our piece of furniture. We had a square TV, and that's all I really remember. Like there would be maybe one present under the tree. And, that was sort of my youth. That's a common youth because not everybody's middle class and not everybody's rich. So, it doesn't matter on the color of your skin. If you grow up dirt poor under those circumstances, you have all the issues that come along with the economic, limitations. So that's where I started. There was, violence in the house all the time. I remember my dad once again coming in the house looking for drug money. And, my mom was, a liberal from California. They were both liberals. very well spoken, the burn the bra generation, post Vietnam adults. They were very strong willed people. They were tough individuals, and you couldn't tell my mother anything. I mean, to this day, she's passed away now, but you couldn't tell my mom a fucking thing. Right. She was just going to let you have it. She's like, I didn't fucking ask you. Like, I'm not putting on a bra. Like, these are my nipples. Like, they're out. Like, look the other fucking way if you don't like it. That was my mother. She really was. And I think that's where I get some of those traits from, of not parsing my words, because she was not like that. She was just not that woman. She was a strong woman with just a really tough story as well. And she was doing something. She says, you owe me some money or something. And she had like a little jar with like coins, and she threw that shit at him, like tossed the jar of pennies and nickels at the dude, looking for, some cash to do whatever. And my dad was one of those guys, zero fucks, hyper violent guy. And, he just grabbed his cup of coffee and like tossed it on her, right? Like burn her back. I think it was the pot of coffee, like the actual pot of coffee, like just like flung it at her and burned her all up. So this was just stuff that just happened from time to time in our house. I mean, it wasn't an everyday thing, but that's no excuse. I mean, you can barely use harsh words on people today. So I think I remember him getting a DUI. I think he had like 3 in a week.
Wow.
3 in a week. Oh my god.
3 in a week. Yeah. Yeah. I remember he used to tell stories about how difficult it was. He used to warn me once he eventually cleaned up, but he used to warn me as a young adult, like, never drink and drive, son. He's like, when I was young, we could have 3 in a week. It was no big deal. Right. He's like, they just let you out. Like you wouldn't even go to court. He goes, now you get a DUI. You're done. You lose your license, 10K. He goes, they're coming after you hard. He goes, just Uber, So that was childhood. And, those events prepared me for later in life. I wove between legalities from time to time, if you will, in those environments. And, I dabbled on the wrong side of the fence, and those things, nearly cost me my life.
Understandable.
Eventually I woke up.
How did you wake up though? I mean, because let's be honest, that's not the normal thing. You described very eloquently how many people come from that background, but that doesn't mean that they successfully leave that background. Most people don't.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky. I think I got very lucky. So my dad cleaned himself up right around the time I was 7 to 10, where he got sober. I got into AA, and he didn't drink past that until later in life when he developed ailments. He got liver cancer, cirrhosis of the liver from hepatitis C from the intravenous drug use that he was doing. So he ended up getting a cirrhosis of the liver, very painful way to go. And he started drinking at that point to manage the pain. Quotes, manage the pain, but I think it was the pain inside his head as an addict. But regardless, that's what he did. And so he was clean all the way through my young adulthood, maybe from the time of 7 or 8, I lived with him in Austin, Texas, till 19. So I had an unplanned pregnancy right around 19. And at that point I was, I was suspected of, drug charges at one point. Those charges were dropped. Very shortly after that, I found myself, with an unplanned pregnancy at 19 years old. So speaking with the attorney, he's like, hey man, here's the deal. You need a little direction. District attorney's a JAG officer from the Marine Corps. Unofficially, the JAG officer says you should be in the Marine Corps in the next 20 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I were you, I mean, there was no documentation. This was a gentleman's agreement kind of thing. And my attorney says, hey, if I were you, with everything you have going on, if you don't make some changes, you're fucked. They don't care. They'll throw away the key in the book, and you'll just be, another inmate in prison. So I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I went down to Navy, the Army, right? And they all have something to say. I went into the Marine Corps, and there's all these fucking jacked guys, all tatted up, and they didn't even get out of their desk when I walked in. They didn't get up off the desk or the chair when I walked in. So I was like, these motherfuckers, like, I played football, I had a little bit of health on me. I was like, the egos on these dudes. So I said, hey, hey, I was like, you see me standing here? I was like, you have any information? What can you do for me? And the guy, big, giant Marine, square jaw, the haircut like pointed forward, like look like a fucking jarhead, right? Like the picture of a jarhead Marine guy. Like you're like, Jesus. Like, okay. So he towers over his desk, this big giant dude. And I'm a teenager. I'm a young adult. And he says, look, young man, we don't do that here. Marine Corps doesn't offer you shit. He goes, you offer the Marine Corps something. He goes, the flyers are up there. Good luck. And that's it. He sat back down, fucking went to hunting and pecking on his fucking typewriter like a caveman, right? Right? I was like, so I grab my little flyer, like I walk out, I go home. I was like, hey, Dad, I was like, I'm thinking about the Marine Corps, after talking with the attorney, he said, I need to get my shit together. He's like, oh yeah, son. I told him the story. He's like, because we weren't a military family. I'd never seen a military movie. They didn't talk about war. They were anti-war. They were hippies. And my dad was a draft dodger, so that was just not something we did in our family at all. And guy goes, yeah, son, the Marine Corps doesn't do that. He goes, we need to watch a movie. So we watched a Marine Corps movie. He goes, this is nothing like real life. He goes, but in the Marines, anything dangerous or undoable that you ever needed accomplished, the president just calls those fucking assholes. And they go over there and just get it done. He goes, they just keep coming till the job's done. And whatever's left of them, they just add more, right? That's it. They put the pieces back together, the Marine Corps, and then they go rip someone else apart. They're just the doggone sense, right? And that's the truth. So I went in the next day. I was intrigued. I said, all right, look, I came in.
Hey, you got to stop for a second. What was intriguing you? That's what I'm curious about. Something was grabbing your attention. What was it?
So at that time, so let me paint the picture of my personality is I'm very low empathetic. I won't say I'm psychopathic, but in general, from everything that I've been through, I'm a little low on the empathy fucking scale, right? I've never been accused of being overly empathetic from any woman I've ever dated in my life. I'm just really not. I'm not that guy. I'm like, I'm a pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Like, let's get moving. Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm that guy. I'm not like, oh my God, is your knee going to be okay? Like, let's start petting her. Like, okay, let me hold your hand. I'm like, I don't fucking give a fuck. I was like, you just stubbed your toe, babe. Like, let's move. Like, dinner's in 15 minutes.
Clinton,
like, are we going?
This is a woman, not a dog. You don't
I know.
them.
I know. So that's why I struggle in relationships, obviously, right?
You gotta love the level of honesty, Jody Lynn. I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, this is like bluntly honest. Holy
It's
cow.
the truth. I mean, I don't pull punches even from myself, right? If I'm being an asshole, I'm an asshole. I'm like, you're right. I was a fucking asshole. Like, I love you though. I got you. I apologize. So what was intriguing was I played organized sports football. I was a middle linebacker in Pflugerville, Texas, which is outside of Austin, Texas, north of Austin. So I was used to organized sports and, I got injured and didn't play sports anymore. And, I was just a hard worker. So I had that ethic from my father, who was a hard worker, like up at 5 every day. He had his coffee, read his paper, and then he was off to work. And then, he stayed late, all that stuff. So I learned my hard work ethic, very early. I funded my first 4 cars on my own. I got a job painting cars and like hustling. I'd work till midnight. I was like 15 years old. Every day, 6-7 days a week, you'd have to pull me back because I just like working. And, I was just kind of ready for that challenge. I was like, all right, these fucking assholes do it. Like, let's see. Like, I went over to the Navy. They were a little overweight. The Air Force was a little overweight. The Army was a little overweight. The Marines though, those dudes were not. Those dudes were like, okay, I needed something greater than the Army, the Navy, most of the Army and the Navy could offer, right? I needed the service that was lower budget, a little brash around the edges, and filled with people that were kind of in my same situation. The Marine Corps is, usually low middle class and lower class people that struggled in one way or the other, but they're all usually typically quite athletic, and kind of sort of like me, right? So that's okay.
It sounds like you had a lot to identify with.
I did. Those guys were all problems when we spoke, right? They were all fucking problems. You wouldn't want any of those guys putting their hands on you in the dark, right? You're like, God damn, fucking gorilla off me, right? So I identified with that hard challenge, and I knew that's what I needed to keep me on the narrow, right? So I was drinking regularly, using drugs regularly, not the little stuff either. I don't really recall a sober day throughout all of high school, to be very clear.
Wow.
Right. So that was it. That was the routine there every day. So I got in the Marine Corps and stepped on those yellow footprints. And from that moment forward, so I had my daughter. I found out we had the pregnancy. 3 weeks later, I'm in boot camp. Right. And I never touched drugs throughout the rest of the Marine Corps. I did use alcohol habitually. Right. That is a requirement of the job, if you will, when you belong to a fraternity like the Marine Corps in the early 2000s. I think the services have changed their tune to how they deal with alcohol and PTSD in combat since then. But this was post 90s, right? So alcohol, the alcohol, how do you want to say it? The alcohol environment that they were propagating in the Marine Corps and all the services just kind of started to turn down. Right. They knew that it was toxic and it was causing a lot of issues, a lot of domestic violence, suicides, etc. So they changed their tone and the messaging started changing quickly right around 2000. So it was a lot less drinking, but, we were hard headed. So we would do a lot of underage drinking in the Marine Corps. So that's my story getting into the Marine Corps. And it was all business from there. You take that hyper violent, somewhat intelligent and crafty individual, and then you get them into a system where I would say Marine Corps is not known for being the brightest people. It's never a good feeling when you're the smartest guy in the room or the voice of reason. We're like, what are we doing here, guys? Like, no, that's not a good idea. So I was always naturally a thinker, like a tactician, a thinker. I could take myself out of the situation and look at it from a different situation. So operationally, once I developed the skills and got up to speed with tactics in my given MOS, I became quite proficient at the art of war. And we were ready to go year in, year out to do the bidding of the United States government quite aggressively, and we were good at it.
I'm curious also because the way you tell your story, and I think you do it actually quite egolessly. You talk about essentially you were one of the brighter ones. You were a brighter bulb there. And right. I'm curious, did that actually translate to advancement, or did that work against you with advancement?
No, 100%. So I've had countless interactions with 3, 2, 3, 4-star generals, et cetera. They let this dude talk because the hierarchy in the Marine Corps, like all places. So in the Marine Corps, we have one of at the time, we were the only service to allow enlisted people to control weapon systems, right? Most of the services use officers. So in the Marine Corps, you can drop a bomb on a human, like a JFAC or a JTAC, something like that, can drop a bomb on another human. And I think they're an E4, right? That's they can call for fire, et cetera, at a very low rank, enlisted, right? If you're not familiar with the enlisted rank levels,
I'm not.
It's 0 through 9, and then, O, which is officer, which is the command element, through 9 again, like all the way up to general, right? So the enlisted typically are advisement, think of it as like one's management, one's, supervisor or the execution staff, right? So the officers make all the big decisions. In the Marine Corps, due to our narrow numbers, enlisted can do those things where they'd typically be reserved for officers. So I controlled aircraft, assigning targets to the aircraft, taking damage assessment, close air support, forward of the line of troops, et cetera, in like Iraq, all day, every day. But I would be one of the only enlisted in the entire service doing that type of job. In all other services, that would be an officer, someone that went to college, went to officer candidate school, et cetera. So as enlisted with no college and very limited training, I'm dropping bombs at 21 years old on other humans and managing 20, 30 aircraft at a time in a weapons stack, like engaging the Iraqi military, everything. So it's crazy.
So it sounds though like you were given the responsibilities, but it doesn't sound like they made you an officer. It sounds like they kept you as an enlisted man. So, I mean, it's like that ceiling was never going to be cracked.
It was no, it was never going to be cracked because I didn't go into officer candidate school, and nor did I want to. But in our service, in the Marine Corps, as 7236, which is the MOS Air Defense Controller, we had officers and enlisted, and it was qualification based. So if you could get your qualifications, you could potentially manage officers, which is not a good position to be in. So when we step on the system, it was rankless. For the most part, right? You didn't disrespect officers like openly, like, hey, dumb fuck, like, what are you doing?
Right.
We wouldn't do that. You'd be like, hey, like, no, like back that out. Like, are you good? Like, you have one more shot. Like, give it one more go. Like, if you're not good, you're leaving the system. Like, these are like, I'm responsible as a senior qualified person. If someone changes paint, if they drop a bomb on someone, like, I'm going to prison. I'm the guy in Leavenworth, not that idiot. So I'm actually like legally responsible, like on the system with the qualifications. There's, tapes and recordings and everything going on, just in case of the event. And I've actually been under some very light level investigations for things that's happened from the crew, either making some mistakes or they couldn't raise aircraft and troops end up dying. So various scenarios where, they would do like a surface investigation to see if it was, neglect or unprofessionalism or some other thing, like they were just asleep on the system or something crazy.
So how interesting. Basically, what I'm hearing here is that despite the fact that you were within an outfit that is about glorifying the lower middle class or the lower class kid who's the tough fighter and so forth, and you were among the brighter ones in that, so you actually gained a significant level of responsibility, even though it may not have been officer responsibility, right. It was still a significant amount of responsibility. And so you ended up learning in this really not typical environment, right. not the kind of environment most people go through. You actually learned how to be respectful in a disrespectful environment. That's my way of seeing it. I mean, you essentially came through a field, I guess, or a structure where everybody was dirt, and you grew up to not be dirt within this field
right.
of dirt.
Right. So it's a delicate balance. So in other services, they don't appreciate that dynamic, and it was a respect thing. So I remember I worked with these guys every day, right? Guys and women, right? Every single day. So they know what's up, and they wouldn't fuck with it. When we go to, like a FOB base in I think one of the cities was Salerno. So we were based out of Kandahar Air Base in Afghanistan. And we took a detachment of maybe 4 Marines, up to a FOB base in Salerno. Was controlled by the Army. So we show up, and I'm the senior qualified person. There's an officer there, a lieutenant. So a first lieutenant, which is an O2. So basically a junior officer between year 2 and 4, typically. Right. And then me, I think I was a sergeant, or I can't even remember what my rank was. I don't remember. Right.
I was a big difference to you.
Yeah, I wasn't a big guy. I didn't give a fuck. It didn't really matter. Right. And then I had my crew, all E5s or whatever, all controllers, and I was the senior qualified person. Right. So we took a laptop, some radios, and we were doing some crazy shit in the mountains, like clearing fire for the Army, because they were having issues. There's, poor radio connectivity and satellite connectivity in those parts of the world. So they can't talk to the aircraft. So we were using satellite systems and a system called the JR2 to control the aircraft, like passively without radar, like passive control, not active control. So when we show up on base, an Army base, we get out there, there's this colonel, big colonel. You can tell he doesn't want fucking Marines on his base, right? He's a complete infantry asshole, right? Which is understandable from an infantry officer. They're usually pretty serious bearing folks, right? They don't fuck around, right? They're just all business. There's no smile. There's no shit. Like, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? Whatever. So we show up, and this dude was being a fucking dick. He's like, I didn't ask you on this base. I don't know who the fuck you are. What are you doing here? Like, whatever. I was like, he's like, yeah, it's like, I was like, we could really use he's like, who the fuck's in charge? Why am I talking to you? I was like, well, the lieutenant. He's like, I was like, but the lieutenant doesn't know what we need. He's like, the fuck kind of system you guys running? He goes, you know, he was pissed. And I was like, and the lieutenant looks over. He's like, yeah, that's right. He's like, that dude tells me what to do when we're on the system. I was like, he's my administrative supervisor. He's my administrative officer, right? If I need anything to deal with you, I just say, hey, look, we need a line, a SIPR line, which is a classified system, and a telephone. So I can talk to the fucking KOC in case we have issues with these fucking aircraft getting shot at by your goddamn artillery, right? So we have to have this for safety. I literally just looked over. I was like, I'm not talking to this fucking guy. Like, hey, I was like, I need a SIPR line. Can you put in the request for me? Get a SIPR line. He turns. He's like, can we have a SIPR line and a telephone line? It's literally like 3 feet apart. I just like stopped talking to this fucking guy, right? And turned to my officer and said, hey, can you get this for me? And he turns back. He's like, can you get this for me, to the officer, the colonel on base. So the colonel fucking loses his shit. He's like, I'm not fucking doing this. He's like, I just quit. I was like, I'm on orders from the CFAC, right? Which is the Combined Forces Air Component Commander. Like, we're on special orders to do this shit for the Army. I was like, we're here for you, dude. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what's going on? So I had a sat phone. I called the floor, the KOC floor, and said, hey, who's the big dog on fucking site? I was like, the CFAC around? I was like, this colonel is fucking with us here. Like, and I dropped his name. I was like, he's like, who are you calling? I was like, the general. I passed him the phone. He's like, He's like, we'll see what we can do. And the next day we had like all our shit, right? 'Cause the Army has like these strict requirements for like, you put in a request. They got to fund money. They got to dig a trench, like put a cable, like all this shit takes time. He's like, we need a 06 to sign for this. I was like, we didn't even show up in theater with an 06. I was like, the highest ranking dude in the rear is an 05. Like, what are you talking about? An 0-6. I was like, we need to make this happen. So like, I called back to the fucking KOC again. I was like, hey, this dude's being a dick, dude. Can you figure out how the fuck that we can get this shit faster? I was like, a computer, a red line, and a secure telephone, landline. That's all I need. I was like, that takes 3 seconds. Like, let's make this happen. So in like 24 hours, this dude keeps fucking with us. Eventually, the land component commander basically shit on the colonel, said, hey, give those guys where the fuck they need. Like, shut up. They're there for you. Right. And like, I had to go in there like every single day, like tell the dude, hey, this is what we're doing for you. This is the service we're helping you accomplish. I was like, you have aircraft you can't talk to. I fucking can. I was like, I'm trying to keep your guys alive. I was like, just give me the shit that I need for safety. He's like, why can't you do it with that? I was like, because I go to fucking prison if there's a problem. I was like, I can't see the aircraft, dude. There's no radars here. I was like, even if there were, they're all like on the ground. I was like, your aircraft are like underneath the mountains, bro. Like flying between the valleys trying to drop bombs on that, save the troops and shit. I was morons, right? So that's what we were doing, man. That's the kind of stuff we were dealing with all the time. And I was pretty intelligent, and we learn our system. So the enlisted are on the system longer. In the officer's defense, they have secondary duties. It's not that they're dumb; they just don't have the time because they have other responsibilities to take care at the command level, and with the platoon and all the issues going on with the Marines, and they all have secondary and triple and backup duties to the backup duties. So they're like busy with all that administrative war bullshit, like numbers and budget and DUIs and all that crap, right? And we're enlisted are obviously causing most of those problems, but we're down in the bottom, like messing with the equipment on the day to day. So we hours wise, we had far more experience training. I mean, we're on the systems, these systems most every day. We'd fire up the system, make sure it worked. We were always like troubleshooting, trying to figure out ways to get it to start better. Like, just stuff, working the art of knowing your equipment, which is your weapon system. And then the repetitious part of, command and control. And, that's kind of how we did it. We just had way more time on the system. And there was probably, I'd say out of 50, there were probably 10 people, maybe 5 that, that were the ones doing most all the work. Just kind of in any organization, you probably have maybe 10% of the people, maybe 15 are the movers in the organization. About 3/4 are really just hanging out. And, the other percentage, probably shouldn't even be there, right? They're doing nothing, but
they're just figureheads.
Yeah, so we fell into that group, and I figured out real quick, like if I understood my system, I didn't have to fuck with the bullshit. Like I didn't do the regular stuff because I was an asset. So if it was like this, I had all this knowledge, you can't get it out of my body if you start fucking with me. Right? So I just like, oh man, I don't know what that is.
Jody Lynn, I mean, as we're hearing Clinton talking here, right? I know, I don't know about you. I came into the conversation wondering, okay, so how did he get from point A to point B? He started with, he was a poor white trash, right? Comes up through that, dealt with all the traumas that are associated with that, and somehow got to a point in his life where he cleaned it all up. How did he get there? It's evident to me how he got there. I mean, isn't it evident to you at this point?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how we did it. I would just not fuck with their bullshit. If they started fucking with me, like I wouldn't put out technically. I was just like, nah, I was like, I don't know, man. Go ask that fucking smart lieutenant over there that went to college for basket weaving. It's now a United States Marine Corps officer. Like, go ask that idiot. Like, right. Yeah. Fuck you. Like, no. So we got away with murder. And then I was, pretty mature. So like in our organization, a unit of maybe 400 or 500, out of Cherry Point, North Carolina, we didn't have any alcohol related incidences. One thing that we did, like I understand systems and a little bit of the law and how to stay out of fucking trouble when you're not doing what you're supposed to, right? There's something called evidence and whatever. So we didn't have any alcohol related events in the 4 or 5 years that I was there because we managed our own people. So if we were drinking and there was underage drinking, we made sure that those people got home safe. So there was always a designated somebody, right, around, right? And I would somehow end up at parties with the officers. Like, I'm not saying that I was supposed to, but I would end up at the same parties where there would be officers. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, yeah, I know all these fucking people. I was like, what are you doing here, you loser? He's like, I'm an officer. I was like, you're not shit here, motherfucker. So keep talking. Like, I was like, you'll be an officer with a bloody fucking face. You keep it up. I was like, I'm just here to have a good time. So my name's Jay, right? That's all you got to know. Jay. Call me Jay. Like, where did I go to school? Pick any campus, bro. I don't care. Wow. Yeah, I saw those morons do some crazy shit. So I had dirt on all those guys, but I kept them out of trouble too. So it's a relationship. So when they would do something, I'd be like, no. I was like, we're not doing that, man. I was like,
this is almost like a seminar on how do you start with a dysfunctional system, work dysfunctionally to create something functional.
It's relationships.
That's what this is.
Relationship. All of life is relationships, right? There's rules. So this is something I learned early is that there's rules. Rules are for guidance, right? Everybody breaks the rules. They break the rules in every layer of the government all the time. Break the law all the time, right? They're on the wrong side of the law. One day it's illegal to kill people, and tomorrow they pass a law and it's illegal to kill people, right? The morals have nothing to do with it. So knowing that they bend these rules at will all the time, I know that there's a wide range of interpretation on a very white and black rule. Right. So understanding how the human side of things, I mean, how the fuck do they get drugs in prisons and, all that stuff, right? It's humans, right? Humans are crafty and the humans are the weak part in every link. So the Marine Corps is a beautiful service with great rules and great equality, and it has its own issues. But the problem isn't the system. The problem's the people, right? I just know how to press on the people to navigate through the rules, for example. So here's an example of something we do. So I won't say that this was me, but I knew a guy that was getting alcohol into a combat zone where it wasn't allowed. Right? They were crafty. They had the Listerine for Jim Beam, and the colored Listerine was vodka, and they used food coloring, and they shipped all that shit off before. The dogs couldn't find it, and they resealed. So one of the guys knew someone that owned a bottling company, and they resealed the lid with a non-breakable seal, and then they shipped that shit over with socks, and it shows up, and it's Jim Beam instead of Listerine. And it's vodka instead of the colored Listerine, right? So one of those things ended up magically in the commanding officer's compound, and another one ended up in the senior listed's in compound, right? on their bed. I don't know, but hey, when you grease the hands, shit gets done. I mean, the Spec Ops people drink, right? The Army was drinking. We were there in mixed services. The Marines were the only people not allowed to drink. They're the only people following the rules. I was like, fuck that. That's stupid. No one got in trouble. No one did anything wrong. Right? Just a little sip from time to time, just a thimble to take the edge off combat. I'm just saying that I didn't drink it, but I heard of people that might have drank it.
Of course not, right?
Yeah.
A guy who knew a guy who knew another one.
That's right.
Yeah, I heard a rumor about a guy who knew a guy that,
Yeah.
that somehow figured out how to get alcohol into a country where you weren't supposed to.
Well, you also figured out how to deal with PTSD and how to deal with the issues that came out of all these experiences. So tell us a little bit about that side of it.
Okay, so coming out of all that stuff, you know, I'd say I'm a little detached. I think that's
A little?
Yeah, a little detached, right? So I used the concept of detachment quite regularly, get myself out of a mental situation and look at it from a different angle. But I do have my emotions too, and eventually they catch up to you. So all those things I had just suppressed, really. Like I didn't really allow it to affect me in a way that I was aware of. And then eventually those things start to catch up, right? As you get older, testosterone, I think, is a little lower and lower, and you that regret of combat and all the horrible things that you were a part of in one way or the other, either directly or indirectly, just starts to eat at your soul a little bit. And that gnawing that your conscience is doing on you just starts to get worse and worse and worse. So I managed my PTSD and struggles, and it didn't really hit me till a little bit later in life. Went through a divorce, etc. But I kind of fell into the system of old me, right? I forgot the things that I was doing right that really helped me excel to get through college, to get through the Marine Corps, and really advance in my career. I started to recess back into old me, right? Hanging around people that I probably shouldn't have. I started doing drugs, started drinking on the regular, and that stuff ruined my life. It really did. It took my life from struggling function to active dysfunction pretty quickly. And I lost a lot. Like I lost the marriage, relationship with the kids. My profession sort of stagnated. And then I lost really the greatest thing, which was everything that made me great. It was just on idle. It was put in a little box, and this alter ego thing is just consumed by really doing nothing but looking for that next dopamine hit of some sort by chasing girls, drinking alcohol, watching Netflix, traveling, whatever it is, whatever your vice is. I mean, I was trying to do them all to silence that PTSD, right? Yeah. Eventually, I had to seek help. That's where I started. Like I acknowledged I had an issue. Like I had to sit down with family, and the tears were flowing. I said, "Hey, dude, Dad's got a problem." Like, cause they didn't know this at the time, but I actually loaded a shotgun, right? I loaded the shotgun, set it on the wall at like 4 a.m. Like I woke up and I was like, I don't know if I want to live. Right. I loaded the shotgun, right? The family shotgun. I loaded it, set it on the wall. I said, if I don't get a response back from the universe on why I should live, I'm going to put that thing in my mouth and pull the trigger. And I am not a guy that goes back on his word. Right. So it was there, and I sat there like struggling. Right. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't do anything. And, I waited for a sign, and I just didn't do it. That was it. I had the crossroads choice. I realized I had an issue that day. I said, hey, I called my ex-wife. I said, hey, we need to have a family sit down. I was like, I need to tell you some shit. It's not going to be pleasant. But I got to get it out of my body. Right. You need to be aware with what I'm going through. I'm not saying I need any help from you. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I'm just letting you know I'm going through some shit, and it's going to be a little rough for me. So I need some distance from the family because I don't trust myself at the moment. Right. So I had that conversation with her. Right. I immediately, went in and got help with the VA, pretty quickly. And then I started searching for another way to manage my PTSD. And this was a process. This wasn't an overnight shit where you just like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. You just stop eating. And then eventually you're out of 20 pounds and you're good. Like, oh, I can get in that bikini now. Like, I guess I can eat again. Like, I didn't do that. Like, this was a process where like I fell on and off the wagon for a while. So I found a mentor. I ran into a couple mentors. Girl broke my heart. Right. Of course. Right. Big guy like me. Of course, right? Like there's no greater pain than when a woman shits on your heart. But right, I'd rather lose a limb than have my heart shit on because I don't open it for anybody, right? So I let someone in. That pain is deep. And she just kind of left the city and just deuced out, right? Didn't call me, nothing. Like sent me a text, like, oh, by the way, I'm not in the city anymore. I don't know where you'll fit into my life. I was like, yeah, I could kind of figure that out. Thanks. So like I hit a low and I was like, God damn. So I did a lot of introspective work on, hey, look, there is something wrong with me. Like I'm a decent guy. Like I would die for my woman, right? I'd defend my family like without hesitation, but that doesn't mean shit if you're not present. And I realized that I was scared. I was hurt, not hard. Right. My mentor says this term, you're hurt, not hard. Right. It makes sense. I was hard, but inside I was only hard because I was hurt. And I had always been hurt since I was a kid. I was just carrying that hurt forward. And since I was afraid of being hurt, like I didn't live with my mother, so I had mother abandonment issues. Right. So I never really truly trusted women and gave them the ability to hurt me emotionally. And when I did, I was hurt. So obviously I'm fucking scared to give up my heart. And, so I realized that I would never experience true love unless I was willing to get hurt. And I had to heal all my previous hurts, right? So that I would allow someone into my life to go from 0 to 100 in a relationship and experience the greatest love and not skip all the parts in between because I was freaked out. Like, oh, this girl did this at level 2 and 3. So let me skip forward to 10 because she's automatically going to leave me and hurt my heart. Like I need to go through steps 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9. And eventually we might end up in 10, but I need to have a conversation with that girl so that I can avoid the approaching train wreck of emotions before they even happen. I'm like, hey, you're doing these things that remind me of some deep pain that I have. I'm just letting you know that it's making me quite uncomfortable. And I'd like you to change that behavior if you're aware you're doing it. And if you're not, that's okay. But if you care for me and you love me, you'll make an effort to try to do better and not hurt me in the way that it looks like I'm going to end up getting hurt. And that actually worked really well with at least emotionally and relationship wise.
Those are some interesting breakthroughs that you had there. I mean, it sounds like your mentors were helping you and that you were getting some guidance in that way, but it sounds like some of it you were finding yourself. You were just kind of finding it.
I put in the work though. So I realized in any problem, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're honest with yourself, you have to identify there's a fucking problem, right? You have to be hurtful in your truth to yourself to the point that you write that shit down. Like, hey, look, I know emotionally I've been holding myself. You sit in silence and what comes to mind, right? If I ask you a question like, hey, what would you like to fix? You probably won't answer because your ego is in the way. But you sit in silence, you're like, what would I like to fix? You can write some stuff down. You look on that list. Those are the things that you know inside subconsciously you're not doing right, right? And you need to do them better. And I did that. I was like, hey, look, I was chasing girls because I really didn't want to get in love. I didn't want to get hurt. So I would do things to self-sabotage my relationship because I wanted to be the hurter inadvertently. I didn't want to get hurt. Right?
But that's a level of clarity right there. That's what I'm saying. I'm impressed by that level of clarity. That's not a level of clarity most people come to. You somehow got there.
I did. Well, like so during that time, my girlfriend left me. This was in 2002, early 2002, bless her heart. I wish her the best, but she knows she's missing out. But regardless, she sees how happy the new one is. So I told her I was going to fix it. I was like, you watch, I'm going to fix every fucking thing that's wrong with me. And I'm going to have a great life. And I wish you the greatest to yours. So that's it. That's where we basically left it. So I did all that work. I started following some really big guys in like the self-help space, the inspiration space, and the coaching space. Just to name a few, my personal mentor is Wes Watson. So you can look him up on the internet. He's this ginormous man. He built the man of his dreams in himself, and he brought that man to the world. And he's a harsh fucking guy. He's ex-convict. He did 10 years in Southern California prisons. He's all tatted up. He's ginormous, dude. He uses, drops F-bombs all the time, calls people bitches and, a man, what does he call them? Bitch titty having men or some shit like that. Like he's a ginormously swole superhero of a guy. That kind of guy I resonate. Another one, Andy Frisella, Bedros Keuilian. The list goes on and on and on of the people. C.T. Fletcher, man, David Goggins, all these personalities, Joe Rogan, all these people I listened to it. I was just like diving into that. I'd pull the pieces out of their message that I knew was speaking to me, right? They speak in such broad terms. They hit you with the things that resonate with so many different people. And I was like, I need a mentor that's hyper alpha, that's living the life that I want in a way that's, ethical. These aren't bad guys. These are all hard. They use harsh words, but they're really speaking to themselves. When they're saying you, they're not really speaking to you. They're actually speaking to themselves, right? The same way I do. So, I was listening to that, resonating in the lowest part of my life. And eventually I did what I could on my own. And I said, you know what? I just need to go all in. I need to hire this guy. I need someone on the outside of the problem looking in to call me in my bullshit. It's really hard to be really honest when you're inside of the problem. That is a life development skill. The ego's involved, and sometimes you just can't see it when you're in the problem. I mean, it's detachment. When I say detachment too, that's a tactical term, that we used all the time. Specifically me, is to take myself out of the problem, look at it from another angle, right? Just remove yourself out of the problem just for a few minutes to kind of play the chess game of what's happening on the battlefield, on what decisions you can make right now, because you don't have forever. You can't just not make any decisions. So I learned a lot of these very rapid decision skills through all my time in the Marine Corps. I mean, I have 355 weeks in combat, right? That's 6.8 years.
It's a lot of time. Yeah.
Dealing with combat, not all the Marine Corps, right? But as a defense contractor in the Marine Corps, and in my Marine Corps time specifically, I was making every decision was a life and death decision. Every single decision I made on that radio was a life death decision. So I just got really good at making rapid decisions, because my guidance when I was a young, my guy, which was a Staff Sergeant McClendon at the time, he was a Force Recon Marine, and he was kind of one of those superhero people too. Just, he was good at everything. He was good looking. He was tall. He was ripped. He did everything well. And I used to say, man, how the fuck you do this, man? Like, I can't. He's like, repetition, Clinton. He goes, just remember this in combat. And this is a Force Recon Marine. So a Special Forces Marine. Like a no joke hombre, like same thing, chiseled jaw, big fucking muscles. He's just like a supermodel of a poster boy. And he's like, you just can't ever not make a decision. He goes, some decisions you're going to make, people are going to die, Clinton. He goes, you're going to know some of those people, and some of those decisions you're going to make, a lot of the enemy's going to die. He goes, someone's always going to die. He goes, you wish it wasn't that way. That's war. He goes, but the only mistake that you could ever make in combat, and it's true to all of life, is make no fucking decision. He goes, because you miss out on the opportunity to learn. He goes, you're going to get burnt. He goes, you're never going to make all the right decisions. He goes, so why try? He goes, you grow smarter over time, tactically wiser, and you know when the spider sensors are going off, but you have to make decisions because there's only really 3 options on the battlefield. That's it. You attack, you defend, you maneuver, and you retreat. In the Marine Corps, we don't fucking retreat. So you have 3 options: attack, defend, or maneuver. That's it. And then reattack. That is it. That is literally the Marine Corps doctrine. It's close with the enemy and destroy, right? It's a 2-step process. We don't hold ground. We don't run. We find out where the bad guys are and we go in, we fucking kill them. That's what we do. And that just resonated so well through all those years, 15, 20-hour days, repetition, day in, day out, 6, 10 months at a time, making these decisions. And some days were slow. Some nights were slow, but man, in the beginning of wars, you wouldn't have a voice. I mean, those radios would be so hot. We'd be talking on them like continually for 12 hours. They'd burn up. Wow. I mean, you just be keying the mic on and on and off. Maintenance guys would jump in, pop out a new radio, pop on. He's like, that one's fucking toast, dude. I can't even pick it up. They'd just be so hot from speaking on the radio. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what we did. So
one thing that you mentioned when you were telling the story about how you told your family you were dealing with things and they needed to know about it and so forth.
Right.
During that story, you mentioned you were looking for a sign from the universe, but you never really made clear whether or not you got a sign.
The sign was I didn't pull the fucking trigger. So,
okay. All right.
So no, I was actually looking for a sign, and I just had this feeling that I was what the inner speak, right? I think that all people are connected to higher a higher purpose, I call it the universe, right? But really there is a higher power. Nothing has ever started from nothing. Right. So for me, not to get too philosophical, I do believe in a higher power because I've had some experiences in my life which made no sense. They just 1 second earlier, 2 seconds too later, like I would have been in part of that car that was rolled over. That's maybe it's just random chance. Sure. Maybe all we're here just random chance, but maybe we're not. Maybe we're not all here by random. So I was sitting there and what came to me was I was taking the coward's way out. So if you're unaware to the audience, in the active duty services, and anybody with any combat experience has maybe 5 to 10x times more suicide, right? Specifically the combat arms, anybody that's been to combat. So the infantry, spec ops, Navy SEALs, it doesn't matter. Like everybody that's been in combat in any form, shape, or whatever suffers from PTSD. They have a really high societal suicide rate. It's way above average. It's like multiple times above women, and then it's multiple times above men. And men are pretty good at killing themselves in the United States. So they don't mess around in that either, I guess. But I remember how bad I felt when these young men that I knew, and it still happens to this day, commit suicide. And older men, now they're mature. They have a little bit of salt and pepper, like some of us on this show, mainly me. So it's a horrible feeling. And what resonated with me in that moment was, what about my kids? So I said, if I pull that trigger, who's left for them? I mean, at the time I had a really big life insurance policy on purpose, right? It wasn't like I was planning for myself, but I had a big one of those and all that stuff. I had big ones for each one of the kids, and I have money in the bank investments. They would have just got all that shit. I was like, well, they're way better off than me, but absent guidance, all that money does nothing for them. So and bless my ex-wife's heart, but she isn't equipped to raise 2 children alone in this world. She's just not. There's no statistic that suggests that's a good idea. That's the exact opposite of a good idea. And those are the most important people in my life. They really are. So I was contemplating taking the coward's way out, and I had always been a fighter in my life. So I needed to fight it out with myself and start fixing the problems inside to be present for them, protect and provide for them, which is a pillar part of the masculine energy in every family circle. A guy like me, if I'm not protecting and providing, then why did I go through all that? Do you really see me changing diapers and cleaning up the house as my purpose in this world? I'm not saying that that's the girl's purpose either, but I'm designed to hurt bad people. That is what I'm here for. I'm the guy between the door and the killer. That's me. I'm the wolf keeping the wolves at bay from the flock. That's just how it is. It's who I was put here for. So to be that Batman in the world, I had to dig deep, heal my wounds so I could return back to the battle. And there still is a battle for here. Even though I'm not on the battlefield, there's a modern day battle that I see from the male perspective in our society, in the United States, where there's just droves of men in our society right now that are forgotten. They've fallen to their vices. They're doing things that are not in alignment with their masculine energy, and society is moving right past them. A massive percentage of society is falling to the wayside right now. And I see it day in and day out. And I'm here to help those guys. It's not all about men. I help about half my clients are females, right? But they almost all struggle with weight, addiction, some type of vice, and they resonate with my firm voice. You see me online, you're like, oh, this dude's a fucking asshole. They don't really know me, but you get in the room with anybody, Michael, and you're like, wow, this fucking guy's serious. Like, he would do anything for me, and I would. My people, never fuck with my people. You're in trouble, man. Like, you get one warning. I'll be like, stop.
That's amazing. They get a warning. Like, okay, that's cool.
Well, I don't want violence anymore in my life. I don't want to go there. It takes a huge amount of my internal energy to keep those dark things out of my my state, my mental state, that a toxic energy, that shit's all toxic. Yeah, I'm capable of those things, but I don't need to be walking around pushing bodies around and shit, like bucking up to people in the gym. I don't give a fuck about that. Like I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your steroids are a little too dialed in today. Like, no issues, man. I got no problems. Like, I don't want any issues. There's no win there. My greatest win is not resorting to violence. I want to avoid violence at all possible. But when my back's to the wall and I have no options, someone's going to get hurt. Right? That's the way it's supposed to be. Like, men respect. So I truly believe violence keeps men in check. The threat of violence keeps other men in check. So soft men, they have a fucking problem, because if you're not dangerous in any way, what are you going to do when a big 225 guy just walks up to your girl like, she's mine now? What are you going to do? You can call the cops. Well, in San Diego, they're never coming. Right? Well, I live in the West Coast. I never see a fucking cop, right? Like, so you're going to call them. They're like, is this life or death? Like, what do you think? I'm calling 911, motherfucker. Like, can you get a car here? There's this big 200 guy humping on my fucking girl in the next room. What am I supposed to do? Watch? Cause I can't really shoot somebody. Guys don't allow guns here, right? Like, no, fuck no. So the threat of violence keeps that male species in check. We're hyper violent for the most part. The male species full of testosterone, they're all capable of violence for the most part. And you have this passive part of society that can't throw hands, doesn't box, doesn't do jiu-jitsu, they don't lift any fucking weights. They've turned into sort of feminine version of a man, right? They have the dangly parts, but they don't have any of the good stuff that comes with being a male. They don't exercise to their full potential, their mind, their body, or their spirit. So guys like me, I try to generate the alpha-ish version of those people so they can be confident enough to get into the gym, confident enough to go do jiu-jitsu, take those boxing classes. And if things got crazy in their world, they have the skills necessary to defend the people that matter most to them, right? I'm not talking about offense. They're not teaching people to go kick in houses and rob people and shit like that. Like, I'm teaching people how to be the counter to those things, because those things happen in society. And sometimes you can't prevent them, but it's my belief is that you're in the family circle, right? It's the man's duty to defend and die for the people he care about. That's your duty to the tribe. And as sad as it is, I think everybody would rather have those dangerous skills and never have to use them than be absent those skills. So, it's like going on a hot date and you don't have, a condom or something crazy. It's like, well, guess I'm going home alone. Like, I could have gotten lucky. She invited me up, but I don't want any more fucking kids. I'm good. Like, high five, bro. See ya. Right? I mean, it's better to have it and not need it, right? So I kind of believe in people. It's better to have those things and not need them than to be in the worst possible scenario you could imagine and just go with the flow. Like, hey man, sorry, like, we don't want any issues. Let me call the cops. Like, I guess you can grab on my girl's boobs in the restaurant and like assault her. Like, what are you going to do? Like, nah, bro. You jump on that gorilla with a fucking plate and just bash him over the head. Be like, hey, you need, like, run, honey, run for fucking 911. Like, I got this. Like, got it. Go next door, screaming and yelling fire or whatever girls are supposed to do when there's trouble. Like, don't yell danger. No one looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for someone who feels like they do need that kind of help, that kind of support, how do they reach out to you?
So the easiest way to find me is on Instagram. I'm all over the internet, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. But for those people out there that are in need of some personal development, they need someone to talk to. Think about suicide, anxiety, depression. You want to get fit. You want to drop 100 pounds. You call someone like me. You can find me on Instagram, San Diego _Clinton1. I'm on there every single day. It's my pastime from sun up to sundown every day. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, first of all, I have to thank you for your service. Second of all, I need to do with you what I do with all my listeners, because it is true. You are a giver. You're a giver of a different order from the typical guest who's on the show, but you're a giver. You're giving continuously. You're giving in your story. You're giving in the way that you help people. You just give. And givers need to know something that we kind of tend to skip over. And that is that you're on this podcast. You've appeared, I'm sure, on other podcasts, other ways that you reach out to people through social media and so forth. And there are many people that you've never met, you've never seen, who are helped by you. So I like to make it a practice to say, on behalf of those people you've never met and you've never seen, thank you for what you've been doing to help them in ways that you'll never know about, because you need that recognition. We all need that recognition. And that's especially true of you. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it. You're most welcome. My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on the show. Jody Lynn, this is about as quiet as I've ever heard you, other than laughing every 5 minutes. But I mean, do you have anything you wanted to add to this?
Oh man, just listening to your story, Clinton, and watching your life, as you said it, play out. There's certain things that you know just seem to come easy to you. But when you step back and you look at the entire picture, it makes sense. You are resourceful. Like, that is something that I don't know if you learned while you were a kid, or, you know, it just developed from a young age, that being resourceful, getting it done, finding the way through is apparent. And that muscle you've been, you know, fixing, or not fixing, but you've been activating your entire life, and that is incredibly apparent as you apply it to developing and growing as a person. And I can see why that's easy for you, and you're so incredibly level-headed to be able to, within these combat zones, take a step back and keep a cool tool without letting your meat loaf, as my dad would say. You know, just a real cool frame of mind at looking at things as like the most catastrophic things are happening to you. And then I see you taking that skill and applying it to your life and stepping back and really having a level head. You know, you got into an accident, still showed up on a date. That's I think, exhibiting, you know, how level headed you are and how you're able to see a different perspective, which is beautiful. And your conviction when you actually believe something, and everything that you do, I saw that conviction and that will to continue to thrive. And I think all of those things are beautiful messages that you bring to the world. So thank you, Clinton.
I appreciate it. You know, those skills, how do you say it? So if you have ever watched an artist work, right? Someone that plays the guitar, an entertainer that's amazing, or, you know, great performance, you know, like Heath Ledger in The Batman. That first scene where he grabbed old girl by the face, you know, is like, you know how I got these scars? That was ad lib, right? That wasn't part of the script. So, through repetition, they develop those skills so well that they make it look easy. But we forget that, you know, they have tens of thousands of hours of cycles and practice. And, I have a lifetime of cycles of practice in not being given my way. Mm-hmm. Right. So figure out a way. You know, my parents weren't the kind of people to just give me a game box. Like, I had to go out and mow lawns and do that shit. So I was always like, you go do, and then when you earned it, you get it. Mm-hmm. I use that in my teachings. When you're deserving, you get it. The universe gives it back to you, but you have to put in the work, right, over time. And when you start, you're horrible at it, right? It's brand new skill. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. I write well. I've written bajillion papers, right, at doctoral level classes, right? I have a master's in software engineering. I'm no dummy, right? So, like, you have to write a ton of papers. I can type like no other. Like, you have to, because it saves you time. You really want to be typing and pecking. Like, no, you just learn how to type without fucking looking, because it's so much more efficient. So all the skills just build on each other, right? We started crawling, then we walked, then we ran, and then we were jumping over things and running, and, you know, we're doing all kinds of cool tricks later in life. But we all started at crawling, right? Most people will fold when they can't walk, but they're at the crawling stage. I just realized that if I want to get better in anything, I just work more at it. Work more at everything. It doesn't matter. So if you pick anything you want in life, it doesn't matter if it's behavioral, if it's your weight, if it's education, if it's how you treat your significant other, you identify there's a problem. You say, hey, look, the majority of my life, I owe myself to get better at how to treat the person I love most better, in a way that they resonate with and reminds them that I love them. If you look at all of life like that, you'll do everything possible to get better at that so that you can give your love to that person in a way that they appreciate. And that's exactly what I did. I just picked the things that I knew I was horrible at, and I just was consumed by them for months on end, trying to understand how to get better every single day, every single little inch I could get better in my behavior and my disciplines. I just put in the work, and over time, just like those artists, I make certain things look very easy, but none of it's easy. I'm making very complex things look very simple. It's just because I've done it so much. And trust me, there's a ton of things in life I am absolutely horrible at. Like we talked about relationships. I struggle with relationships because females are quite empathetic and I'm not empathetic, right? I offer a lot to the relationship, but that's not inherent to me is to be that way. So I don't date empathetic women anymore. So actually, no, that's not true. I have a great partner, and she's the greatest, one of the greatest people I've ever been with in my life. And she's super sweet. She gets me. She's a good match for me. We rarely ever fight. We have deep conversations, and when we do, we get to the bottom of stuff pretty quickly. She's a good match. So there's a person out there for even someone as hard as me. I can tell you that. So if I can fall in love and have someone that I care about, then anybody on this world can find love and master the skill of communicating and being in love and sharing things. That doesn't mean that we won't have issues at some time. It's not a fairy tale, right? She could easily break my heart in a million pieces, but that's all right. I'm willing to take the pain of heartbreak to experience the full range of love. And, what is it? Shakespeare says, it's better to love and lose than to never love at all. And it took me 44 years of my life to find that saying to be true. And the only thing that I ever loved that was unconditional was my children, right? That's a different kind of love. But for another adult, a female, like, it's a great experience to give into that and allow yourself to be hurt, potentially be hurt. I don't even think about it now. I was like, I'll just enjoy. I might not even be alive then. So let me just enjoy now and, give this person my full soul. And, maybe it's forever. No, maybe it's just one more day. Who knows? But that's going to be a great fucking day. I can tell you that.
I love
Right.
So I appreciate that. I'm glad I make certain things look good. But you miss out on 99% of the struggle it took to build this man that you see before you. And it took my mother getting shot, all that domestic violence, all those things prepared me. The organized sports and football and the difficulty of that thing, and Texas football, which is no fucking joke, right? And then all those hits to the head. Maybe that's why I'm a little off as a middle linebacker. I probably have CTE or something like that. That
Probably
makes sense. I've had plenty of concussions. You have when you're little, when you play Texas football. There was no such thing 20 years ago. They're like, stop being a bitch. Get up. Like, why are you dizzy?
Yeah.
That prepared me for the Marine Corps. It really did. And the Marine Corps combined with that prepared me for the difficulties of combat, right? And all the training, right? It wasn't that I was special. It really wasn't. It was that all those guys were special, right? It's just, we were all super trained. We were a family, and we were really only just trying to keep each other alive. And the worst feeling is, having your countrymen and women die, by your inability to act. There's some stories I didn't mention on here that they're dark. And, these are like the worst moments of my life in combat, at the very beginning of Iraq war. The the rules of engagement were quite restrictive. And, the Iraqi military was shooting between the buildings in like suits, and they were calling for artillery fire on cell phones. They were unarmed in suits. So they knew our rules of engagement. So they were violating. They were using human shields, men and women, children, bouncing through the buildings, and we couldn't engage. And we lost 22 Marines in that first night of the war in one of the major cities. I think it was Nasiriyah or Anu-Manaya, one of those cities. They stopped the whole Marine division, and we couldn't actually engage like legally, right? It took them a while to change the rules, and all the rules of engagement are based on legal law, right? On how you can kill people, which is a little morbid, but that's the truth. And, it took them a while to change the rules, to where it was, basically like, you can go out and destroy those guys. They're in trouble. But yeah, we lost 22 guys in one night, and I just remember the helplessness on the radio. You know, listen to these guys, they're taking fire, they're getting schwacked. They're like, you know, you can feel the energy here. You know, there's Casevacs going, the helicopters are just full tilt, getting those guys out of the combat zone, all blasted up from the artillery and stuff. And it was the worst moment that I could imagine. I was just helpless. I just never wanted to be that guy that failed on my countrymen.
Sure. That's very understandable. Wow. Your story is so compelling.
Yeah. But I think you nailed what I was trying to get across is that you nailed it from the very beginning, that everything set you up in your life to be here in this moment. And I've never been through war or active duty or anything like that. But every time I look back on my life, I see exactly the same, that my life, the struggles that I've been through set me up for this moment and seeing all of the beauty that is here. And I want to recognize you for that, Clinton, because I think everyone in this world really has the ability of doing the same. You know, your life has gone down this path for a reason. I don't think it's by chance. I know it's on purpose, and the purpose is for you to benefit in some way. And I see how you've taken all of those things and applied them to your life, and it's really beautiful.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And it was all worth it.
Yeah.
The worst tale possible, all makes it worth it. I wouldn't change it for a thing. If I had it some way easier, who knows what version of me would be here, but this is my version, and I think it's great. And, I wouldn't change it for anything. To be here with you people and, speaking across the internet with all the zeros and ones and all the people we could potentially help and open their eyes to something bigger. It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege, and it's a little scary as well, you know, to be in this position in my life, to be on multiple podcasts regularly and get my story out. I know there's someone out there listening in the audience somewhere on the planet that this will resonate with, and it might save their life. Like, this fucking dude can make it. Like, I can get out of bed today and hug the person I care about, and, you know, not lie, not cheat, not steal, not drink. They can do all those things and be a better person, just 1 inch better today. And that's hugely impressive. And I would have never assumed my life would be in this position, you know, 20 years ago. I just giggled like, internet, internet, what's that? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, we didn't have computers or, you know, mobile phones, none of that. We didn't grow up with those things. I'm sure. I don't think everybody on this podcast understands that, but we didn't grow up with those things. I didn't. No. Yeah, and there was no such thing as a smartphone until the iPhone, really. BlackBerry really didn't even count.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
Yeah, it's only like 14 years ago, right? It was, what, 14? We're on 14 versions of the iPhone. So
yeah.
14, 15 years. Before that, there was no such thing as smartphone, and none of it had internet, really.
No.
It was pathetic.
Texting was not a thing.
No, what was
having
the text?
Color was like, whoa, you're so fly.
Does anybody remember the what were they called? They weren't the cell phones, but the beepers, the pagers.
Oh, yeah.
Pagers. Oh, yeah. Sure.
You used to write 43770 or something for hello upside down. That was our version of text messaging.
This
right?
is true. Yeah.
Could you remember having a romantic text going on in number form? You would have your code, right? Like, what would it be? Like, like, I love you, right? Or whatever that was. I don't even remember. It's so crazy.
Oh, man.
The dial phone with the rotor. Yeah. I'm giving my age away here for the audience. Yeah.
I think you've given more than that away. You've given away who you really are. And, I like that guy. Crazy. I like the guy a lot. So yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. This is great though.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Great show.
Well, you just made it greater just by being here. So thank you very much for your contributions. This has been really good.
Yeah. And, you guys have anything else for me? You got more? Come on, give me those questions.
See, that's what happens on this. You get through an hour. It's like, oh my God, where'd the hour go? And the guest is saying, well, can't we keep going? Yeah.
Hey man, if you have something you want to ask it. Like, we're still going here. I don't have a schedule.
I could do another couple hours, but unfortunately, I can't actually do another couple hours, so I have to say no. But
Okay. All right. We'll save that. We'll save that for
another time. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
I appreciate
All right.
it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Jody Lynn. Catch you next week. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye.